Okay, so I'm going to do my Affliction band predictions, and I realize this is actually, by the time I get this up, it's going to be the day of the event, but hey, better late than never. And I just would like to plead with people, if you can afford this, please buy it. I think what the UFC is doing is a real dick move. It's good for the UFC, but it's bad for the sport in general. But yeah, if you can afford this, you should definitely get it. So let's get right into it. I'm just going to do the main card. Let's see. First up, we got Hanato. Yes, I know Chuck Liddell knocked me out. Do we have to keep seeing the highlight reel footage over and over again? Sobral versus Mike Whitehead. Interesting matchup. We have both guys great wrestlers, both guys great submissions. Babalu, he's a decent striker, but he's not a knockout striker. I mean, I don't think he's had a knockout since like 1999 or maybe 2000. Last time he had a knockout, Bill Clinton was the president. Mike Whitehead, on the other hand, is a decent striker with knockout power. So, Babalu's best hope is to take it to the ground, where they're going to be pretty much evenly matched. So I don't see things going well for Babalu. I think he's either going to get knocked out or he's going to lose a decision. I'm leaning more towards unanimous decision. So yeah, I'm going to say Mike Whitehead takes a unanimous decision. Next up, Matt Lindland versus Fabio Nagel, and I admittedly do not know very much about Fabio Nagel, other than that he's a great jiu-jitsu practitioner, but other than that, I'm not too familiar with him. Matt Lindland, great wrestler, very powerful in the clinch, and as his record shows, he's well-rounded altogether. He's got a lot of wins by knockout, a lot of wins by submission, and he wins a lot of decisions. And his record of losses is pretty similar. He's got a couple losses by knockout, a couple by submission, and a couple by decision. So, judging by his record of losses, it doesn't look like there's really anything that can be exploited. Doesn't look like he has any major holes in his game. Fabio Nagel, like I said, I don't know much about him, but he, judging by his record, he just looks like a more inexperienced version of Matt Lindland. As far as his record goes, got a couple knockouts, got a couple submissions, got a couple decisions under his belt, and as far as losing, he's been knocked out, he's been submitted, and he's lost decision. So yeah, he just looks like a more inexperienced version of Matt Lindland on paper, anyway. But I think Matt Lindland coming in with the experience, I think he's going to outclass him. I think he's going to take him. I'm going to say a second-round submission. Next fight, Ben Rothwell, Andrei Arlovsky. This fight is really going to depend on which Andrei Arlovsky enters the cage. You got a guy who's could be the best in the world. Was at the top of the game not too long ago. Got knocked out and hasn't been the same since. And it's really sad to watch his fights now, because you see a guy who has all the skills in the world and he's just not using them. Especially in his fight with Jake O'Brien. I think that was his last fight in the UFC. Jake O'Brien. He was on the undercard. He just looked awful. He could have had a guillotine. He could have sunk in the guillotine like 3 times. It was right there. I mean, O'Brien was just letting his neck wide open, and Arlovsky wasn't taking it. And it's just sad to see this. he has all the skills. Obviously, it's all mental. It's all mental with him. He's too tentative. Definitely, not as aggressive as he used to be. He's lost his hunger. So it's going to be interesting to see which Arlovsky shows up for this fight. I'm hoping that maybe he got out of the UFC, cleared his head. Maybe he's coming in refocused, re-energized. I would really like to see that. I really hope that. I really hope that for him. That he comes in, refocused. With a renewed confidence. And if he does, Ben Rothwell is going to be in trouble. If he doesn't, he's going to be in trouble. Ben Rothwell, he's riding a 13-fight win streak into this fight. He came undefeated in the IFL. He has knockout power. He has great submissions. So the fight really depends on which Arlovsky shows up. But I'm going to say the tentative one is going to show up, and I'm going to say Arlovsky's probably going to take a decision. I'm going to say a split decision Arlovsky. Next up, Josh Barnett versus Pedro Hizo. They're both coming off of wins against Jeff Munson. And this is actually, some of you old school fans will remember UFC 30. Only time Josh Barnett has been knocked out was against Pedro Hizo. So this is like, the rematch that's been in the making since UFC 30. Let's see. I think Josh Barnett's better on the ground. Most of his wins are by submission. Pedro Hizo better on the feet. Yeah, not really good takedown defense. But he's never been submitted, which is important when you're something to know when you're going up against Josh Barnett. I don't see anyone stopping this fight. But I do see Josh Barnett scoring points at will. I just think it's going to be a great fight, and I think Barnett is going to take a unanimous decision. And I have to go to the bathroom, so I'm going to have to stop this.
Oh, man. Oh.